As we watch this show, it's not just a Janelle thing. Kody had also divorced Mary, and he's also divorced Christine. Currently, he's in a custody battle with Christine where she's asking for child support for her absentee baby daddy, Kody. Now, Kody is obviously going to take the position that he's given enough, Christine has enough, he shouldn't have to pay a whole lot, it's not fair to him, he has other responsibilities, he has other things going on, etc., etc., etc. I want to go on record right now as saying that when we talk about court-ordered child support, it is not the ceiling. That's not the maximum amount of money that you should be giving to your children or financial support that you should be providing to your children. That is the floor. That's the base of what you should be giving to your children, as set out by most calculations. Now, understand, I am not saying that it can't be unfair, it can't be difficult in some cases, because there are cases where people are going to get child support and they kind of get ran over every once in a while. That does happen. But as a general rule, when the custodial parent goes down and applies for child support, that's not the grand total of what it takes to raise a child, what they're awarded. What they're giving is a supplemental or a contribution from the non-custodial parent to help with the raising of said child. Let's say, for instance, if it covers daycare. You go in, you pay for daycare, and it's $100. Each party pays $50. What it doesn't cover is you waking up, preparing that child, getting that child out of the house, fed, dressed, ready to go to daycare. Then it doesn't cover you dropping them off. And then it doesn't cover you preparing to go pick them up at the end of the day to make sure that they get home and they take care of their homework, etc., etc., etc. It also doesn't cover the fact that because you have to pick them up by a certain time, or you have other responsibilities when it comes to their care, it doesn't cover the inability that you may have to do those overtime hours. So in that instance, by you being the custodial parent, there are opportunities, particularly financial opportunities, that you may be missing out on because you have to take care of your kids. Of course, the red pill community has the big argument, but James, these women have the ultimate right and decision to choose whether they have the child or not, so therefore I should have the ultimate right or decision whether I want to pay for or support said child. Here's the thing, fellas. Your decision to take care of that child happens when you decide to sleep with them. You know what the game is. You know what the format is. I find it personally offensive and stupid if you are sleeping with somebody and you want to pretend like you don't understand what happens if that person gets pregnant. It's been that way. It's already established to be the case that they have the right to choose whether they're going to have the baby, not have the baby, and if they have the child, that you may be personally responsible for helping to support that child financially. That's baked into the cake. Your decision is whether you lay down with that person and whether you engage in that activity. If I go down in Mexico and I'm down in Punta Cana or something and I decide to go out swimming with the sharks, in order to participate in this, I had to understand that I was taking a chance, I was taking a risk, and I accepted it all. I accepted the fact that something bad could happen to me because that was part of the thrill. That was part of the entertainment. I can't now pretend like I didn't understand that this is what was actually going to happen. The purpose of this activity is for you to be scared that the sharks are actually going to try to eat you. That's part of the thrill. That's part of the feature. When push comes down to shove, when you decide that you want to lay down with somebody, what you're signing up for is the practice of making people. That's what that activity is for. Now, we may have altered it and changed it and turned it into a recreational activity, but ultimately the purpose of that activity is to make other people. So we can't feign surprise when we participate in that activity. We make other people, and by making other people, we have additional responsibilities to take care of those people. Like, same. I will say this: custody and visitation. The visitation order, like the child support order, is not the roof or the ceiling, it's the floor. It's the basis of you being able to be involved with your child if you're the non-custodial parent. Non-custodial parents should be involved with their child as much as possible. It's not every other weekend, even though that's the baseline of, we're going to make sure that the father at least, or the father or non-custodial parent or the mom or whatever, at least sees the child. We're going to make sure that that happens. There's no reason why the non-custodial parent can't pick the child up and see them during the course of the week, or have dinner with them, or stop by for a couple hours, or go see them at games, even though it's not their weekend, or whatever the case may be. You want that child to feel loved. You want that child to feel welcomed. You want that child to feel a part of the family. And even though the relationship between the two parents didn't work out, it shouldn't affect the child ever. And so therefore, you want the child to get as much love and as much attention as possible. The child should never be deprived of finances or attention and affection from either parent. Now, when we talk about this particular issue in reference to the sister wife situation, and we look at Kody, one of the things that has always stuck out to me about Kody is that everything with him is about money. It's all about the finances of it. So when Christine leaves, he's not worried about where Truly is going to stay or how she's going to survive, even though she lives with Christine. He's worried about how much of her wealth he can retain for himself. When he looks at even Robyn, when Robyn talks about she wants to leave and she wants to go, he's looking at his side of the wealth. He uses Robyn as kind of a cutout so that everyone looks at Robyn and blames Robyn for her greed and her involvement as to what's going on with the family. Oh, well, Robyn went out and bought this big house. Robyn went out and she bought all this land, and all this stuff is in Robyn's name, and she's wasting all kinds of money. Meanwhile, Kody is also wasting a ton of money. Meanwhile, Kody is also spending up the money like a drunk sailor with a weekend pass. He's going insane. She has like a crazy amount of dolls and things, but look at all the cars that he has in the driveway. We're seeing like him pulling up in a convertible Mercedes AMG, $100,000, $200,000 car. He's driving around, has 2 pickup trucks. He has 2 ATVs. He has the 3 pocket bikes that he bought. He has a lot of things and a lot of stuff that he's purchased. We've seen him on the set of this very show wearing Rolex watches, Movados, etc., expensive jewelry, clothes, so on and so forth. His hair being done. That's not cheap for him to go to the hair salon and get his hair done. Like, he's not going to the barber. He's going to a hairdresser. So he's spending just as much, if not more money than Robyn is spending. But there seems to be such a heavy focus on what Robyn is doing, and I think that that's by design. He's putting her up as the person who's going to take the blame for a lot of this. It's also funny to me because, just as a side note, in the preview, they have an instance where Robyn is asking Kody, hey, what do you think about adding another wife? Or are we serious about being monogamous? Now, one could make the argument that maybe Robyn is trying to push Kody to get additional wives so she has additional sources of income, because they basically lost a good 3 sources of income with the other wives leaving the family. They left and they took their cut of the TLC checks with them. And so now Robyn doesn't have access to that, so she wants to get more co-stars back on the show so they can start getting that money deposited into the family fund, and she would have access to it. But the funny thing is that I think that Kody's ego won't allow for him to go out and just get 3 women to throw him on the show. Kody's ego dictates that he's going to have 3 beautiful women, 3 fine sisters. So when he goes out and get these 3 fine sisters, these women are going to be in the same vein as Robyn. He wants somebody how Robyn was. So that means that most likely these women are also going to be concerned about finances. These women are going to be gold diggers. So if we're going to cut through all the crap, at the end of the day, he can't afford the type of women that he wants. So no, he's not going to be a polygamist again. The ironic part is he's basically where he was when they first started the show. He wanted a different class of woman or a different style of woman, but he couldn't afford it before the show started. Now that the show's been going on for 19 seasons, he finds himself back in a situation where even if he wanted to add additional wives or additional women, he can't afford the type of women that he wants. When we talk about the child custody issue, I think that is a huge part of this as well, because when we talk about him wasting money, the child custody order that's going to come down from the court is not going to be a backbreaker child custody order. It's just historically not how it works. They don't drain your accounts in these particular situations. Now, I say that with this caveat. Some people are going to say, yeah, but I know a guy who's paying child support and he's barely making it. When you are making more, you have more. You can spend more. You can afford more. And when somebody is given a larger child support order, it doesn't affect you the same way. What do I mean? If you make $2,000 a month and you still have to pay your rent, car, gas, so on and so forth. Say your car is paid off, you're not paying a car note, but you still have to pay insurance, you still have to pay gas, or you have to pay for your fare to get on the bus. You still got to get back and forth to work. You make $2,000 a month, and by the time you get done, even if it comes up to about $1,700, right? If you have a court order that says you have to pay $300 or $200 a month, that would only give you $100 for you to figure out how to do anything else, for savings, for food, entertainment, $100 to play with. So that's essentially $25 a week. Conversely, if you have a court order that says you have to pay $5,000 a month in court ordered child support, but you make $20,000 a month, that $5,000 it sounds like a big number to everybody else, but you have $15,000 to play with. You have $15,000 that you can figure out how to live. You can make it on $15,000 anywhere. Even in the most expensive markets, you can make it on $15,000 a month. That's California, New York, Miami. You could live well in any one of those places, $15,000 a month. And you're paying your baby mom or you're paying your baby daddy $5,000 a month. That's what I'm talking about. That's the situation that Kody is in. Kody's in a situation where he makes enough money where if he's actually smart with his money, he could pay Christine a substantial amount of money in child support and still live well. The problem or concern that I would have with Kody is that he's not being responsible with his money. He's not taking care of his finances. And like I had said before, between him and Robyn, they're just spending money as fast as they can get it. They receive $100, they spend that $100 right off the top, even before they get it, and they put another $100 on credit. That's not going to help sustain them, and that's going to cause problems if he does get any type of substantial court order from the court with regard to the child support issue. Let me know what you guys think down below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Help a brother out. We're going to do some big things this year. I have a lot of stuff planned, so make sure you hit that bell for notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.